So I got this shoe from Ultra for free recently. This is the Olympus. It's the maximum stack height Maximist EVA Dream Foam shoe available from Ultra. Ultra's got a zero drop, and what that does is it causes this rocker in the front to aggressively kind of grip the trail on the uphill, giving walkers or hikers a more aggressive stance and ability to hike on the trail. Right away, before I even get into this shoe, I just want to say I got this shoe for free. The way that I did that was I took pictures of my Lone Peak 4.0s that I've had for a while, and Ultra literally just sent me this shoe for free. And, Ultra kind of carved out a special space in my heart between me and them by doing that. If you send me a pair of free shoes, especially a beautiful pair of like breakdancing shoes, these like electric blue shoes like this to me, obviously there's nothing I could possibly say negative about Ultra after something like that. This is the second pair of free shoes that I got recently. I blew out a pair of Salomon XA Pro 3Ds. I took photographs of those shoes and emailed the photographs to Salomon, and they sent me a pair of these Predicts. Now, the Predicts and the Olympus both are very eccentric shoes. They have a major focus on creativity and eccentricity. They're not necessarily shoes that I would have purchased on my own if I was buying these with cash. They're both, I think, about $160, anywhere from $120 to $160. They're kind of expensive, and they're very eccentric, creative solutions to trail shoes. But still, it's awesome to get them for free. They're both really interesting shoes, and it's just great and a lot of fun to get them for free. My favorite shoe, the Hoka Kona Clayton, which I have on, this is also another really eccentric shoe. It's just that I just personally like it a lot. I just think that this is a great shoe. It's an ultra lightweight shoe, and it's water resistant. It's hydrophobic and water resistant. Now, the one big thing that you get from Ultra that's kind of exceptional is their tailoring. this area around the ankle is tailored really well on all of their shoes, including the toe box. But the shoes are different. The Lone Peak 4.0 differs even from the Lone Peak 3.5 and other Lone Peaks in that this is a minimalist Dream Foam shoe, meaning that it's got an ultra soft EVA Dream Foam in it, and it has the minimalist amount possible. So actually what you get from the Lone Peak 4.0 is a barefoot shoe that gives you more contact with the ground than even a barefoot shoe, which I have. I've got these Vibram 5-finger barefoot shoes. This has got this thick, tough rubber plate on the bottom of it, and so you actually feel the ground less with a barefoot shoe than you do with the Lone Peak 4.0. So the Lone Peak 4.0 has got a minimalist, soft EVA Dream Foam, minimalist midsole and outsole, which allows you to feel the rocks and roots on the ground more than any other shoe out there. You get more of a sensation of the ground from the Lone Peak 4.0 than any other shoe that I'm aware of. And as a result, it does promote foot fatigue. Now, this is a great shoe for boating, fishing, rafting, canoeing, hanging out at the campsite. It is a hydrophobic, quick-drying shoe, but it is not water resistant. So wet grass will cause your socks to get super wet with the shoe, which is why I kind of think it lends itself more to a hanging out in the woods, sitting around, cooking, hanging out by the campfire, playing guitar, a lot of water, lakes, rivers, streams, fishing, relaxing with water around on hot days, etc. The Lone Peak 4.0 is about as comfortable as it's gonna get. You don't really need socks. You could fall asleep in it. It's kind of like a bedroom slipper. It's really comfortable. Now, the Olympus is nothing like that. It looks similar, and it's got the same great tailoring. It's got the awesome foot box, which is kind of like an apartment for your toes to live in, and it's got the snug ankle. But there's something different about this Olympus. It's a maximum stack height shoe, meaning that the EVA Dream Foam that's in here is 2 inches thick. Now, as a result, Ultra has tailored the top of the shoe to be kind of tight, because your body weight and gravity is going to cause your foot to sink down into this EVA foam after a month or two, and that's going to cause the real estate inside of the shoe to grow as you wear it. So when you first get it, the shoe is a little bit tight across the top. You can actually feel your toes on the top of the shoe here, okay? And so Ultra is kind of guessing as to how much space your foot is going to create inside of the shoe over time, and has made the shoe kind of tight, kind of guesstimating what the shoe will be like. So at first, the laces are kind of apart, kind of far, but as you wear it, the shoe gets bigger inside, and you start to lace it up tighter and tighter, and the laces kind of come in together like that as you wear it, okay? Which is kind of weird. You know, overall, it's kind of crazy. I mean, this Maximus stack height is going to prevent foot fatigue by creating a 2-inch barrier between your feet and the roots and rocks on the trail. However, it does add some weight to the shoe. So after like a 20-mile hike or 30-mile hike, that added weight from all of this extra shoe could become a variable that could factor into your overall fatigue and energy level at the end of the day and your ability to hike, because the shoe is actually a little bit heavier. As far as the lugs, it's got awesome lugs like this. I think the Lone Peak 4.0, as far as I know, it uses a different kind of rubber that wears off slower than the other guys from Ultra. As far as I'm aware, the lugs on Ultras normally wear off faster than they do on the Lone Peak 4.0. The Lone Peak 4.0 really has this kind of like superior, kind of futuristic, indestructible outsole that doesn't come off. And even though the Lone Peak is slightly lighter than the than the Olympus, okay, so the Olympus is a bigger shoe, and it adds a little bit of weight in comparison to the Lone Peak. Ultra, more or less, they're a little bit heavy. They are lighter than classic Salomon's. The Salomon XA Pro 3D is heavier than the Ultra, but there are other shoes that are lighter than Ultra, like Hoka, this one, the Hoka Kona Clayton. This is an ultra lightweight maximum stack height shoe, which is a fraction, it's about half the weight of the Ultra. So, you know, and also this is a water resistant shoe. Whereas with Ultra, you don't get any water resistance with Ultra. So even though this is quick drying, it is a quick drying upper. It doesn't lock moisture out. So if you walk in wet grass, your socks will get wet. And with the Olympus, you know, this is actually kind of like a mesh. This is like a grid. Sun, dust, wind, and water all can get through the top of the shoe. So even though the tailoring is awesome and it's holding your foot in place so that there isn't a lot of wiggle, there isn't a lot of protection with this upper. Also, you wouldn't want any wiggle with this shoe because it's a little bit of a high heel. You're lifted 2 inches off the ground, anywhere from 1 to 2 inches, 1.5 inches, etc. That causes the Olympus to be kind of a high heel shoe, and it has a little bit. You don't want a high heel shoe to have wiggle because that kind of promotes the possibility of your ankle rolling when you use the Olympus because you're kind of lifted up off the ground, and it's a little bit trickier to walk in high heel shoes or platform shoes than in regular shoes. Whereas with the Lone Peak does a little bit of work to try and prevent rolling your ankle, whereas your foot is almost touching the ground, you're almost walking barefoot. Also, the splayed wide toe box catches on the outside of the toe. So if you were to step on a rock like this and roll your ankle to the side, this pinky toe area right here catches on the ground and prevents your ankle from rolling, you know? Whereas with the Olympus, it's tailored the same way, but that extra stack height is causing the shoe to be kind of a high heel shoe so that it's a little bit clumsier.